I'd like to welcome everybody to the beginning of Seder Nashim. We begin with Yevamot. Again, we had Moed Katan. Why do we begin with Yevamot? Because Tosfos had Moed Katan as last Masechta, and so Moed Katan ended off with perennius of funerals and different things. So it's juxtaposed to that. Other people say that Yevamot has other mitzvahs associated with it. The mitzvah of Yevamot, Chalitza, Perivirivya. So many has a multitude of mitzvahs. So therefore, we don't begin with Kedushin Pashtus. But Yevamot in its easiest form is you have two men in the world. They're paternal brothers. They have to be paternal, not maternal. Paternal brothers. They have the same father, and even if they don't have the same mother, and if one dies without a child, then the other one goes ahead and has an option to do yibum and or chalitza. Chalitza is in lieu of yibum. The pratim of the mitzvah we'll discuss, but the hashkafa of the mitzvah is very fascinating because it's one of the mitzvahs we find that was around before Matan Torah. The first act of yibum history was Yehuda with Tamar. The first act, Yehuda had three sons, Onan, and Shelah. Marries a woman named Tamar, who, very famous woman. She was the daughter of Shem ben Noach. And dies. And Onan is miyabim her. The brother, the miyabim her, and Onan dies. And Yehuda, feeling that perhaps she was a katlonis, what we call a black widow, anyone who was married to her, didn't give over the smallest child. Shelah was the youngest child, did not give it over. Many years passed, she saw that nothing was happening. She dressed up as a harlot. She knew that Malchus Beis David was going to come from this mishpacha, and Kachoya, Yehuda was with her, and the Ramban learns there was an of Yibum. That, in other words, the concept of Yibum was before. After Matan Torah, it can only be fulfilled through a paternal brother. But Koydem Matan Torah, it was the closest relative, aside from the brother. If the brother didn't do it, then somebody else did. In this case, was the father. So we see it was around before Matan Torah. And the Ramban speaks out. This is the Yisoid. He says this is the sort of Gilgul Neshama, that this man who died without any children did not leave his mark in the world. That the Indian of going ahead and having a brother being miyabim, the relative being miyabim his wife, is the Indian of Bimagagal his neshama into the world. That's the Yisoid of Yibum. And again, it's before Matan Torah. You would not think of it as being such a mitzvah that conceptually was before Matan Torah, but you see, in fact, it was. That the keep Sheihakim B'Shem Yisrael. Now, we're going to go through the parsha. It's about 5 or 6 psukim. Never have 5 or 6 psukim wrought so much difficulty, as we're going to see. So there's, and in a regular case, it's not a problem. You have a man, he's married, he dies, he has a brother, the brother's miyabim the wife. The brother not wanting to be miyabim the wife goes ahead and has to do chalitza. Now, why do you have to do anything? If you don't do yibum, what's the inyan of chalitza? So there's a very fascinating idea. It's probably the most difficult sugya in Yevamot. It's called Zika. There is an invisible connection between the dead man's wife and her brother-in-law. There's a connection between the dead man's wife and the brother-in-law, and the only way to sever this connection is through chalitza. Giving a get won't do it. You give a get, it won't do that. Now we'll see that there's a kedushin called Maimer, and they would have to give a get. But midaraisa, the only way to sever this zika, to sever this invisible connection, is through chalitza. Without that, she's not permitted to marry. And I'll tell you an unbelievable chiddush, guys, an unbelievable chiddush. If we paskin that a kohen gadol marries an almana, you need a get. The kohen gadol is not allowed to marry an almana. Let's say he's over on the lav. It's a lav. She's not able to marry almana. Let's say he's over the avera. So the kedushin, the bond is the kedushin, and it works. If a kohen marries a gerusha, he's not supposed to. But if he does, it works. And in other words, for the almana or the gerusha to get married, she would have to receive a get from the kohen gadol, right? We say kedushin is tofes b'chayvei lavim. Kedushin works by chayvei lavim, with the exception of Rabbi Akiva, who says not. Rabbi Akiva says not. We all kedushin is tofes by chayvei lavim, with one exception. You know what that exception is? A Yevamot. A Yevamot who's waiting to go ahead for her brother-in-law to be miyabim her. A man would come along and give her kedushin. Now, even though it's only a lav a lav to be with her. It's not an issa karis. It's not an issa chayv misas bezdin to be with a potential yavama. Nonetheless, the kedushin won't work. You know why? Because you can't be mekadesh a woman who's already married. You can't be mekadesh a woman who's already been married. So we see the zika of the dead man so strong, connecting her to the brother, that even kiddushin of somebody else won't work. It gives you an example, and the only thing to take that off is the chalitza. The only thing that possibly can remove that off is chalitza. Oh, we have Steve Geller joining. She has again, she won't be able to marry without chalitza. In fact, she would not be able to marry, right? Because again, it's a very, very powerful disconnection. What? She not considered, in other words, she's what's called the Yevamot l'shuk. She has no husband, but there is some connection to her dead husband, connecting her to the zika to his brother. Yeah, let's say there was no brother. No brother, then she's free. There's nothing. No brother. If there's no brother, she's free. There's nothing. So now,
if she has a child. If she has a child,
then no, forget about it. The whole parsha of Yibum is only.
No. I'm talking about if she has a child from the person who wasn't allowed to marry her. Is that child called a mamza? I'm talking about.
No. If she had a child from the person, would not be a mamza. We're going to see it's in Yevamis, the sugya mamzeris. We paskin only comes from a union that is chayiv karis or chayiv misas bezdin. It does not come from chayiv elavin, right? But there is an opinion Abishol, that it is an opinion that it is a mamza. There is an opinion. We don't paskin that way. Yes. Chalitza is a mitzvah. Yes, chalitza is a mitzvah. And we'll get into the sugya whether what's preferable. Okay, one more. The idea of yibum is something that's it's mind-boggling, fellas. If one would be with his sister-in-law, that's a chiyuv karis, and the child's a mamzer. If one is with his sister-in-law, they both died, they have a chiyuv karis, and the child's a mamzer. B'mokim yibum, we take off that issue. You view it in that context. It's mind-boggling how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants this man's legacy, so to say, to be carried on. He gives a waiver on an Issakaris. Eishes ach, that means sister-in-law, is an Issakaris. So it's an unbelievable thing. It's an unbelievable concept. Now, Bisman Hazeh, most of this Masechta is a moot point, because we haven't done Yibum since the time of the Gemara. Guys, people don't have the right kavanah. The Ashkenazim don't do Yibum. The Ramah brings down, Ashkenazim don't do Yibum. The Sfardim already showing is a big thing. It's a big in the big. Ravadia had a tshuva to do Yibum, which was unbelievable. But the Ashkenazim, we haven't done Yibum from the beginning, from the time of the Gemara. Why? Because Abishol says if a guy has the wrong zin, maybe he likes it, maybe he likes the sister-in-law, maybe he likes the way she looks. If she's not mechavim l'shem mitzvah, then karav liyos mamza. But that's the lashon of Abishol. Karav liyos mamza. So we don't do yibum. Now, most of the cases in Masechta of difficulty, including the first Mishnah, is a man that has two wives and two women are falling in front of the man was married, the dead man is married to two women. Ashkenazim, we can't marry two women. Since the Chayr of Geshem, we can't marry two women. So for two reasons, the Masechta very much is a moot point halachically. But in terms of lomdis, in terms of difficulty, in terms of geschmack, Yevamis is a special place. So it can be quite daunting, but I'll do the best I can. This book is going to help a lot for some of the difficulties, and there are other difficulties that are difficult the book won't help for. Okay? So yeah. Sure.
It's not only having children, it's marrying the woman.
You have to marry the woman.
You have to marry the woman. So we care what it's about.
Huh?
She likes the woman, so it's a big deal. She likes the woman, wants to marry her.
No, that's the kavanah has to be Hakim Shem Achiv for his brother. That's and again, we're going to get to that Gemara. It's a Gemara. We're going to get to that Gemara. I'm telling you, if they haven't done some time in the Gemara, you see that Karavli is Mamza. In other words, you know what it's like. You get a waiver. Someone says, it's pekuach nefesh, you have to eat lobster. Pekuach nefesh, the only way to save your life is to eat lobster. So there's two ways to approach it. Or get the bib in the butter, I'm saying is, how do you view it? How do you view it? You understand? Yeah.
What's the difference between chorus and Misa?
Chorus could be for your children. Chorus could be in this world and the next world. Misa Shemayim is only just this world doesn't affect your children. Misa Shemayim is one level less. It's a level less. What?
Only if the person dies under 60, is that true?
Again, that was the chorus. We said that we had chorus Bonim, chorus Shanim, we had chorus Yomim, we had different days, we had different opinions. Okay, now the first Mishnah in the Masechta deals with the following case. Here's the following scenario. You can have a man that's married to two women, and they're going to fall to, after he dies, they're going to fall to the brother. If it was a normal case, he'd be miyabim one of them, and the other one goes free. You don't have to do yibum chalitza, both just one. One lets the other hook. Bias echru bana. He only has to build one bias, but not two bias. He doesn't have to build two. No, again, it's chalitza to one, other one gets off the hook. That be the easiest case. The problem over here, we're going to have 15 cases where a man will not be able to marry one of them because that one person is an erva. In other words, he can't be with that person. You'll say the whole pasham of Yibum is overriding an erva of Eishesach, because the Torah matters Eishesach. It doesn't matter any other erva. An erva bleibt an erva. It remains an erva. And we're going to see b'makom shlei b'makom mitzvah Eishesach. It remains Eishesach. So you have a man that's married to two women. He dies, and now these two women are falling in front of the brother-in-law. Good. One of the women, the brother-in-law can't marry because that woman happens to be an erva to him. If that's the case, then they're all off the hook. The other one goes free. The woman, the fact that she's an erva, patters lets the only one gets the other one off the hook. That is the crux of the Mishnah. Now let's just go through the psukim. If you look at page 2 in your book, you got to get a book, Mandy. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so good. So we're going through. This is the parsha. Give it to him. In page 2, we're just going to read through. In the book, we're just going to read through this parsha, guys. Okay. Here's the parsha of. This is the parsha of Yibum. We're just going to go through it just to get an idea of what we're talking about. Steve, say hello. It's good to see Steve Geller. We'll see him live. There he is, Steve Geller, live and in living color.
Thought it was 8:30.
Why do you think it's 8:30? 8:15. You haven't been here so long. 8:30 was the last cycle. We were not Chesed then.
I gotcha. Okay.
Anyway, guys, say hello to Steve. He's the man that's responsible. Everyone say hello to Steve.
Thank you for YouTube.
You can yell at me for not posting it quick enough.
Okay, yell at him. Okay. The brothers, they're in the world at the same time. They have no children. None. So there's a mitzvah, there's a lav. She can't go out. There's a lav for her to marry. She can't go out to a different man that's not a brother-in-law. Her brother-in-law should live with her. Guys, dafka al yedei bia, dafka al yedei marital relations. You can't be kind of yavama with money or with a shtar. As opposed to an other isha, you can be kind of a kesef shtar ubia. A yavama, you have to go ahead only through marital relations will you acquire her. The lachaloi the isha v'yivma, and he will take her as a wife and be miyabim her. This does not mean that he'll give birth to a bachar. It means that the older brother should do. We're going to see the oldest brother does yibum. His name should not be erased. If he does not want to take her, she brings him to Bezdin. He refuses. He doesn't want to live with me. He says, I don't want to take her. She takes off his shoe. She spits in front of him, not on him, in front of him. She says in Lashon Kodesh, this is what done to a what? A person who does not miyabim. Again, Chalitza is the bidi evet. It's not the lechatchila. The Nikra Shema Yisrael beis chalitz hanal, and this guy is called beis chalitz hanal, literally the one who is the beis chalitz who took off a shoe. The house that took off the shoe. That's the parsha. Okay, and this parsha says a lot of things. Okay, what I'd like to do is let's go through a few of this cases. Let's go get used to seeing the cases. Okay, so there's 15 cases. The first one is what is on page 3. So let's starting 1.1. Each one you have a line, and the line goes down the line. So you have 2 men. Reuven and Shimon are brothers. They have the same vest on. They're brothers. Now, Reuven goes ahead, and I'll tell you why in a second. He's ma'anis. He rapes a woman, and that woman has a child called Chana. So Reuven is Chana's father. Reuven is Chana's father. He rapes the woman, and so this is bitai. Good. Now, very easily, Chana now goes ahead and marries 1-3. Chana marries Shimon, who's Reuven's brother, as we saw in line 1-1. So Reuven and Shimon are brothers. Now, Shimon just married Reuven's daughter, his niece. He married his niece, right? He married his niece as a result of Anusa, no? And there's another girl there, Penina. So Shimon has 2 wives, Chana and Penina, and now 1-4, Shimon dies. That's the line. Shimon's dead. So who is the Nidin over here? The Nidin is the black boxes. And the fact that it's a white hole in it shows that it doesn't work, guys. The fact that it has a white hole in it shows it doesn't work. So in falling in front of Reuven now is 2 women, Chana and Penina. However, Chana is Reuven's daughter. So Reuven can't marry Chana. As a result, since Reuven can't marry Chana, Penina is off the hook. Gone. Easiest case. Why the case of Anusa? Let's jump ahead for a second. Why the case of Anusa is page 6. What's the case, guys? Bas Ishto, the daughter of his wife. You would say that is what is a stepdaughter, correct? Let's go through the case. You have Reuben and Shimon, picture 4, line 4-1. Again, you start with the 2 brothers. 4-2, Reuven goes ahead, marries a woman Yocheved, right? And she had previously been married to somebody else. The guy on the right with the broken thing between them shows they're no longer married. They had a child, Chana. So if Reuven now marries Yocheved, what is Chana to Reuven? A stepdaughter. That's Bas Ishto. It's the daughter of his wife. Good? So now, going down the line, if Shimon would marry Chana, Shimon is married to Reuven's stepdaughter. Now, 4-4, if Shimon dies, falling in front of Reuven is his stepdaughter and Penina. So obviously he can't marry either one. Now, touch the word. What does Bas Ishto mean? The daughter of his wife, correct? Does that preclude his own daughter? No. His own daughter is what is? The daughter of his wife. So why would you have to tell me a regular case of Bito, guys? Why would you have to tell me a regular case of daughter? If stepdaughter is out of bounds because it's Bas Ishto, certainly a regular daughter is Bas Ishto, correct? So therefore, guys, now you understand on page 3 why we're speaking about a Bito Manu Sasai, a daughter as a result of rape. It's a chiddush to tell me she's still a full-fledged daughter, even though she wasn't born al yedei kiddushin, even though she was born as a result of forced relations, and the man was not married to her, she's a daughter nonetheless. That's a bigger chiddush than telling me just a regular daughter, which you would have heard from the case of stepdaughter Bas Ishto. Got it?
Let's say the woman doesn't.
She again, the Gemara is discussed. Usually, it's because of physical reasons. That if it's a mukach shchin, the guy has a terrible lice on his body, we won't force her to do it. The Gemara is going to discuss that. The Gemara is going to discuss, but usually it's a reason, not because of, she doesn't. You're right. He doesn't like the way it sets the table. Such an important thing. Plastic cups, whatever. Okay.
With 2 wives, how do you know which one goes for evil?
Whichever one he does, whichever one he wants. It's up to him, yeah. So as long as you do one, whichever you want. Okay, let's go to another case. Let's go page 4, Bas Bito. Bas Bito is a granddaughter. In other words, what's going to happen at the end of the day is Shimon is going to marry Reuven's granddaughter, and 2 women are going to fall in front of him. One of them happens to be a granddaughter. Again, you're going to get this very quickly, guys. So 2-1, you begin with Reuven and Shimon. Now, Reuven is Ma'anis, a woman, has a child, Miriam. Miriam is again Reuven's daughter. They have a child, Chana. So what's Chana to Reuven, guys? Granddaughter, right? Reuven's granddaughter. Now Shimon marries Reuven, 2-3. Shimon marries Reuven's granddaughter, and he's married to Penina, 2-4. Shimon dies. Falling in front of Reuven is who? Is his granddaughter Penina. Boom. Okay, very good. Clear. Basbino is the same thing, just you change grandson for son is instead of daughter. Basishto we did. Okay, let's do page 7. Basbina. That's the daughter. That's the daughter of her daughter. Okay, so you have Reuven and Shimon. Yocheved was married to another man, and they had a son named Aaron. Aaron had a child named Chana. So what's Aaron? What's Chana? What's Aaron to Reuven? Is a stepson. That's Binah. That's Yocheved's son. That's Binah. What's Chana? Bas Binah is this. It's a step grandson, right? It's the step granddaughter. Now, Shimon marries that one. Penina 5-4. So therefore, now falling in front of Reuven is what? The daughter of her son. Chana is the daughter of Yocheved's son Aaron. There you go. Okay, that's Baspita. Okay, let's go to page 9. Chamoso again. You get the drift. Afilu Meya. Well, no, we'll see. Chamoso, you have over here Reuven and Shimon. Again, it's page 9. Page 9. Chamoso, the case of mother-in-law. Reuven and Shimon. Now, Reuven goes ahead and marries the daughter Yocheved, and Chana is to Reuven what? Chana is Reuven's mother-in-law, correct? Because Yocheved is his wife, and Chana is Yocheved's mother. So now what happens? What? Well, okay. Well, that we're going to see in a second. So now, obviously, Reuven, some person dies, and Shimon marries who? Shimon marries Chana. 7-4. There's 2 women falling in front of Reuven. Penina, who is fine, no relation whatsoever, just his brother's wife, which would be okay. However, Chana, who happens to be Reuven's mother-in-law, good. Now, guys will notice at the end of each page, he does a great thing. He brings the pasuk where you know it from, because these pasukim are very cryptic. He brings it at the bottom of each page. Erbas ishu b'teloi segala. Now, by the way, Steve, if you want to know, I got permission from this fellow to post anything. You can put anything online. If you wanted any time to post something, right? You have a shush from him. He's okay. He's okay with it. Yeah, I spoke to him. He's okay with it. I don't have time to patchka with this. Okay. Chana is Reuven's mother-in-law easily. Look, he's married to Yocheved. Okay, let's do page 10. Page 10. Ein Chamoso, the mother of his mother-in-law. This is really getting interesting, right? Okay, that's why you see you have these evil thoughts, guys. You get them out of your head. Now, so Reuven and Shimon. You start off with Reuven and Shimon, right? Now, Reuven marries Miriam. Now, who is Miriam? Miriam is the daughter of Yocheved. Yocheved is the daughter of Chana, right? So, right? So now, if Shimon ends up with Chana, that Chana is the mother of his mother-in-law. Chana is the mother of Yocheved. Yocheved is the mother-in-law of Reuven. So now, 8-4, falling in front of Reuven is who? Shimon is married to Chana and Penina. Chana is to Reuven the mother of his mother-in-law. His mother-in-law is Yocheved. Chana is the mother. There you go. Okay, let's go page 12. Page 12. Achoso me'imo, a case of his maternal. Achoso me'imo. This Achoso is his sister from his mother. So guys, now here it gets a little different. Look, Yaakov has 2 sons, Reuven and Yosef. However, they have 2 different mothers. So you see the way he charted it. That's important. The way he charted it is on the right side they're both the same, so they have the same father. Since they have the same father, right? Morty, it might be good if you just look on with somebody. It'll become much clearer. Look on with somebody. It'll instead of sitting there, go over there. Right. So line 10:1. We'll go through line 10:1. You have again, Ruvain and Yosef are paternal brothers because Yaakov's the father. However, they don't have the same mother. They don't have the same mother. Yosef's mother is Rus, and Ruvain's mother is Leah. Good? So now what happens is Leah and Yaakov either get divorced or dies. Leah now marries somebody else, and she has a child, Chana. Good? Okay, now what is Chana to Yosef? Nothing. Chana is, they don't have the same mother, they don't have the same father. To Ruvain, they have the same mother. Guys, this is important. Look, Ruvain to Chana is a maternal brother-sister. They have the same mother, Leah, a different father. One has an Acher and one has Yaakov. But she's not related at all to Yosef. Chana now marries Yosef, 10-3. Chana now is married to Yosef, who is what? Ruvain's paternal brother. Good? Ruvain's paternal brother. Now, watch what happens. Yosef dies. 10-4. 10-4. 10-4. Guys in the bottom, 10-4. So Yosef is dying, falling in front of Ruvain.
The old version is different.
Yeah. What do you mean?
It's totally different.
Yeah.
Different name, they switched the name.
Oh, okay. So I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying.
Look
you
at
have the
them.
older one.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I'm sorry if you have older version. I Dafka took the new one because I knew there'd be a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so 10-4. 10-4, guys. Look, Ruvain, Chana, and Yosef. Ruvain and Chana are maternal brother and sister. Good. Yosef and Ruvain are paternal. Falling in front of Ruvain now are two women, Chana and Penina. He can't marry Chana. Why? Because Chana is Achoso, his sister, Me'imo, from his mother. Guys, got it? Chana is Ruvain's maternal sister. Therefore, he can't marry Penina. Penina is off the hook. And the pasuk is, Ervas Achoscha Basimecha Lo Sigala Ervasa. Okay, this is another case.
This last case is the Kiddush that you can marry his half sister.
No, I'm just saying, this is the
No,
Erva. No, there's no Chiddush Chiddushim over here. All these are Isurim of the Torah. He brings the pasuk of the Erva, and all we're saying is, since I can't marry one, I can't marry the other. It's just that you're not so, first of all, if you look at the Pesukim, it's not so clear. This gives you clarity, the case, exactly what is the Erva of the Torah. Okay, let's do page 15. Page 15. This is Eshes Achiv Me'imo. Okay, it's the wife of his brother from his mother. Let's see what this is. Okay, so you have now, you're starting off the case, 13-1. You have Yaakov and has two children, Reuven and Yosef, from two different mothers, the same case, Leah and Rus. Now, Yaakov and Leah get divorced or what, or Yaakov dies, it's irrelevant. Leah is a free agent now. Leah marries an Acher, and they have a child, Mordechai. Good? They have a child, Mordechai, and Mordechai is married to Chana. Mordechai is married to Chana. Now, what's the relationship, guys, between Mordechai and Reuven? They're maternal brothers, right? Both Reuven and Mordechai have Leah as their mother, guys, right? Now, Chana, therefore, is what? Eshes Achiv Me'imo. Chana is the mother, the wife of Reuven's maternal brother. Good? So now, if Yosef would marry Chana, falling 13-4, falling in front of Reuven at the time of Yosef's death is two women, Penina and Chana. He can't marry Chana. Chana is Eshes Achiv Me'imo. Chana was married to Mordechai, and Mordechai was his maternal brother. So now you can't go ahead and marry Penina. That's the case of Eshes Achiv Me'imo. That's case 13. Okay, next case, page 16. This now gets very, very interesting. Guys, so far, anyone problem with this following along? Some people, Dr. Press, this is classic. This is eye therapy, right? This is classic. If you'd have problem with eye therapy, you'd have problems with these charts. Maybe we should get in the office. In the office in Lakewood. Look, I know you're learning Yevamot now in Yoni the Yoima. It's the external vision therapy.
Which direction does Zika go?
Zika goes, it's linear. Okay, guys, now, next case. This is fascinating. 14-1. Okay, you have Reuven, Chana, and Shimon, right? Reuven and Shimon are brothers, right? And Reuven is married to Chana. Yes? Now, Ruvain dies. This is important. Ruvain dies. Chana falls Yibum to Shimon, right? That's his. Now, Levi is born after the death of Ruvain. That's the key. Levi is born after the death of Ruvain, meaning Ruvain and Levi were never in the world at the same time. He never knew his older brother. Levi never knew his older brother. Right? They're still brothers. So now, if Shimon is Miyabim Chana, which he should be, and that's the first sign we have of Yibum. That's his Yibum sign. You see that little like Band-Aid thing that looks like a watch? That's his Yibum sign. So that if Shimon is Miyabim Chana, and he has another wife, Penina, and now Shimon dies. So falling in front of Levi are two women. Who are they? Penina and Chana. But you know what? He can't marry Chana because Chana is the wife, Eishes, Achiv, Shlohaya be'olamo. He was never in the world at the same time. Now here's the key. If you can't marry her, what does she remain? She remains Eishes Ach. She remains Chana is, in other words, you might look at this chart and say, 1 second, Shimon and Levi were in the world at the same time. So why can't Levi marry Chana because she was married to Shimon? And the answer is, since he was not in the world with Ruvain, Chana remains an Eishes Ach. If there's no mitzvah, she remains the Isra of Eishes Ach. You don't get the waiver. She remains your brother's, your sister-in-law. That's the lumdus over here. That's the lumdus. Despite the fact she's falling from Shimon, once she couldn't be miyabim from Ruvain, she remains the Isra Eishes Ach. There was no mitzvah. If there's no mitzvah yibum, the comes crushing down like a ton of bricks. Eishes Ach. Boom. Okay. The last case is Kalasla, his daughter-in-law. Okay. It's normally we can skip that case. Now, next case, 18, page 18. The guy did a tremendous chesed. Guys, this is easy cases. This is nothing. This is garnish with garnish. Yeah, I'm telling you, these are pennies. Wait till you get to the half dollars. I'm telling you, this is garnish with garnish. But he did a tremendous thing. People say share on this. I've seen them opening up, give a little hakdama, and begin reading it, and the guys are sitting there going, you know what that means? Zoom. Once we open up this the Gemara, Baruch Hashem, you guys, you know what's going on. I'll teach you. You'll see. You know what's going on. I've done this. This is the third time we're doing this, right? So now, right? No, the third time with the Sefer. Now watch page 18, guys. The Kulan and all of them in Mesu, if they die, Sarasei Mutarais, the Tsaras and Mutat Ketzad. So what's the case over here? Let's see the case. The first case was the case of the daughter Me'anu Sasso. So watch. So Ruvain again is Ma'anis, a woman. He forces himself upon a woman, and he has a love child, Chana, right? Right, that's his daughter from a forced rape. Chana marries Shimon, so Ruvain can't marry who? Ruvain can't marry Penina, correct? Penina is the tzara of Chana. She's a tzara. She's a rival. Good. Now, 16:2, Chana dies. Chana dies, and Shimon now is married to Penina, correct? Can Ruvain marry Penina? No. Why not? She is Eishes Ach, right? Can't marry her. She's Eishes Ach, right? However, 1 second. No, 1 second. No. Shimon dies. Shimon dies. No. When the whole time, when Chana was alive, right? Then he couldn't marry Penina. For Kulam and Mesu, if the Erva dies, then the Tzara becomes mutter. Right. When Chana was alive, Ruvain couldn't marry Penina because of Chana. Once Chana's out of the way, in other words, Chana dies, right? Chana died before Shimon died, right? 16:2, guys. You see, Chana died before Shimon died. Therefore, 16:4, Ruvain is able to be miyabim Penina, right? Why? The Kulam and Mesu. If the Erva dies, Sarasei Mutarais, then the Tzara Penina would be mutter. Good? Yes, no, maybe? Okay. Next. She has to die before him. She can't, if he dies before, if he dies afterwards, it has to be what's called B'shas Nefila. Since at the time of the death, you're in the ballpark or out of the ballpark, whatever that is. So it has to be that Shimon died first. It had to be that Chana precedes Shimon. Chana previous to Shimon. If Chana did not previous to Shimon, that means she was alive at the time of the Chalois of the Yibam, which was the death of Shimon. At that time, since Reuven couldn't do it, Zehu, gone. Okay, even though she dies afterwards. Good question. Now, there's the other case, there's a case of Mion. This is very intricate, but outside, guys. A man is able to marry his daughter off when she's a katana. That's a kedushin deraisa. Usually, if a man dies, the chacham made a takana, worrying to protect the girl we want to marry as soon as possible. They gave the power to go ahead for the mother or the brother to marry her off. However, that's only kedushin derabanan. And if the girl does not want to be married, she does not need a get. Before she becomes a naira, she can refuse the marriage. As long as she's a katana, she can refuse the marriage. That marriage is called that is called miyun, refusal, and that's given by his picture. Yeah, the classic picture of. You'll take a look. 19 guys, second column. You see that katana? You see that little elbow there? That's miyun, but she's giving him like, I'm not interested. Look, yeah, she turns the face the other way. Right. She's giving the body language is okay.
Talk to the hand.
Right. Okay, so now the problem is that's your classic case of Miyam when the father is dead. We need a case of Miyam when the father's alive. We need a case of Miyam when the father's alive. That would happen is if the father marries her when she's a katana, receives a get, and then she's in her own Balad Amis. Then she can do what she wants. So in that case, guys, watch the case. Reuven 17:1, page 819, 17:1. Reuven and Shimon are married. Again, Reuven was minus this woman, and she has a child, Chana Katana. Chana is a Katana. She marries Acher. Good. Now, Acher goes ahead and divorces her. That makes her a free agent, so she can get married to somebody else, and she does. Who does she marry? Shimon. She marries Reuven's brother. Now, if Shimon dies, so now page 17:4, Chana could go ahead and refuse marriage to Shimon. Chana refuses marriage to, so therefore you did Mion. Mela, if Shimon dies after the Mion, then Reuven is able to miyabing Penina, because no longer is Reuven's daughter an impediment. Since she got out of Shimon's jurisdiction by going ahead and refusing that marriage, she was a katana. Thus, at the time of Shimon's death, the only one falling to Reuven is Penina. Therefore, you have the Yibam sign. That would be the case of Mion. Right.
But Mia means that she just doesn't want to marry.
The Mia means no, they're married. She wants to leave. She's married and she wants to leave, and she can without a get. To her husband. To her husband. To her husband. It's kedushin mamish the rabbanon. Kedushin is suing the rabbanon. Full-fledged wife. They're having relations. Full-fledged wife.
No.
A regular katana. A regular katana. Right. Okay. What? Again, but she's not married to Shimon. She's not married to Shimon.
She went to be a katana to get a regular divorce. You could marry her anyway. You can marry Penina, no?
What?
A regular case of to take me and I put the get.
Yeah.
If she was a regular person, then she'd be fine also.
Yeah,
You
yeah. We want the case. We
harder.
have to give this case of me in the case of Ms. Gashu. Okay, let's see 21. Holchat Saras Bito. Let's say that Sarah of his daughter, Penina. Okay, let's start off the case. 19:1. You have again Reuven and Shimon are brothers. Shimon's married to Penina and married to Reuven's daughter through Anusa Chana, and there's a third brother, Levi. Good. Now, 19:2, Shimon dies, right? And Shimon dies, falling in front of Reuven and Levi are Chana and Penina, correct? Now, Reuven can't do anything, can he? Because Penina is off the hook because of the relationship with Chana. However, Levi has no problem. So Levi is miyabe mat Penina, yes, and he has another wife, Halah. So Levi has another wife, Halah. So now, what happens if Levi dies without children? Falling in front of Reuven is two women, Penina and Halah. Now Penina was pata already, right? Why is Penina pata? Because she fell in Chana. Penina also now will pata Halah. So that's Holchat Saras Bitoy. if the tzara of the daughter, the tzara Penina, goes and marries somebody else, Levi, and there's another one inside, that tzara that she couldn't marry because of Chana remains one of Ptur and Deshipat. Again, one more time. Guys, look at the 19.3. 19.3. I'll go over the line itself. When Reuven cannot marry Penina. Why? Because Shimon, when Shimon died and it fell in front of Reuven and Levi with Chana and Penina. He can't marry Penina because Chana is his daughter. And Penina is the Tsaras Bito. That's Tsaras Bito. Now, if the Tsaras Bito goes and marries another brother, in this case Levi, Penina married Levi, right? And they had a child, and he has another wife, Hala'ah. If when Levi dies and Penina and Hala'ah fall in front of Reuven, Reuven cannot marry Hala'ah because the fact that Penina is falling in front and Penina had gotten off the hook because of Chana, that patters that as well. Now this is what this is a filu hein meya. This is even if there's 100. In other words, Heshi asked, how far down the line does it go, guys? Page 22. Let's see. Again, using the first case, it's the easiest case for illustration. Yeah, now you have 4 brothers: Reuven, Shimon, Levi, and Yehuda. Again, Reuven has a daughter, Chana. Chana marries Shimon. Shimon dies. Penina goes ahead and it goes to Levi, right? Then Levi dies. And then what? Then Yehuda marries Hala'ah. Right? And then Yehuda dies, right? Then Yehuda dies. Then what? Then Reuven, right?
Goes back to Reuven.
They're both us on Reuven, right? Because since Hala'ah was also the knife is also also. Again, that Kula Mesa. In other words, what's the rule of thumb? Once it fell once and it didn't work, that woman carries the Patur all the way down the line. Guys, you good? Okay. Let's do one more. Okay, let's do the last case over here. 21-1. Okay, again, Reuven minus a woman has a daughter, is a katana. When you say katana, that means she's going to be able to do miyun. She marries an acher, Shimon. Then she gets divorced from acher, a full-fledged divorce. What does that do? That gets her own jurisdiction while the father's still alive. That's the key. Usually means when the father's dead. Right? This is Yisoma b'chayaviyah. Right. Very good. Yisoma b'chayaviyah. The Shimon is married to Penina and to Chana. And now, let's say Shimon dies and Chana is still around. So watch. If we tell Chana to go ahead, and do miyun, that would be great. That would mata Penina to Reuven. But as long as Chana does not, in that case, Penina will get chalitza, not yibum. You have to give chalitza because since it's only in this derabanan, because the whole kedushin is derabanan, you'd have to give chalitza. Okay, again, that may be a little fast. We did the best we could. Let's go through the Mishnah, and then we'll see. Again, you'll get used to this. Bez Hashem, guys. There are 15 women who pater their tzaras. In other words, since yibum can't be done by them, it lets the tzara off the hook. The tzara gets off the hook. And again, who are they? The tzara sayim. Not only then, the tzara sayim, the tzara of the tzara, mina chalitza, from chalitza umina yibum, at soifa oilam till the end. It doesn't make a difference. The eluhain bitoi, and again, bitoi means bitoi me anusasoi, a daughter that was born as the result of anusa, ubas bitoi, a granddaughter, the daughter of his daughter, ubas bino, a granddaughter, the daughter of his son, bas ishto, case of what, a stepdaughter, or a full-fledged daughter. Yes, and that's why we said bitoi me anusasoi. Ubas bina, or the daughter of her son, ubas bita, or the daughter of a daughter. In other words, a stepson's daughter, or a stepdaughter's daughter. Chamoso, his mother-in-law, the aim chamoso, or the mother of his mother-in-law. The aim chamav, or the mother of his father-in-law. Achosome imo, again we saw this. This is the case of a maternal sister. That was the case of Yosef and Reuven. The achos imo, or his mother's sister. The achos ishto, or the sister of his wife. The eshes achiv me'imo, or the wife of his mother's brother. The Eishes no, the wife of his brother from his mother, the wife of his maternal sister brother. The Eishes Achiv Shlahoi Ba'olamo, or the wife of the child that he wasn't in the world with at the same time. That was the case of Levi. We introduced Levi, was born after Ruvain. And it says, Ki yeshvu achim yachtav, guys. Achim yachtav, they have to be in the world at the same time. If they're not in the world at the same time, then the Isser of Eishes Ach applies. Memela, Levi was also to marry Chana, or whoever Ruvain's wife was, simply because that was it. There's no heta there whatsoever. Even though she was married to Shimon afterwards, no problem. The Kalasai and his daughter-in-law. Hari Elu, all these women, Poitrois Tsarosayim, they pata the Tsaros, the Tsaros Tsarosayim. They would pata the Tsara and the Tsara of the Tsara. If they get married, the Tsara of the Tsara. Minachalitza u'minayibum atsoif oilam. V'kulam and Mesu, all of them, if the Erev dies, or refuses the marriage, and this is speaking about when her father married her off, she got divorced, and now she's considered a Yisoma b'chayi baila, and her father's still alive, she now can marry herself to anyone she wants, and as long as she's a katana, she can refuse the marriage. Or this garshu, or the erva got divorced, or shenimtza islandess, or the erva turns out to be an islandess. An islandess is a woman who turns out to be a woman who's incapable of having children. She'll have certain characteristics of a man. When a man is married to an islandess, she can kind of mekach tois. He can kind of the marriage was never a marriage. So Mamela, if the marriage was never a marriage, you don't have the erva's connection to go ahead and pata the tzara. The tzara is available. So 3 cases: miyana, death, gerushin, miyun, or islandess. Yeah, obviously. Oisha miyana. Ketzad Paitrus Tzara Sehem. How is the case of the Pata the Tzara? If his daughter or one of these arroyas was married to his brother, and there was another woman, they were married to Chana, and there was another woman, Penina, Umes, and now Shimon dies. Just like Chana is Pata, because it's the daughter to Ruvain, so too the Tzara, Penina is Pater. Halchat Tzara's Bitoy. If Penina would go, guys, Venisis La'achiv Hasheni, and now marry the second brother, V'lo Yisha Cheres, a second wife, Umes, and what? And now the second husband dies, the second brother dies, Kashem Shetzara's Bitoy Petura, just like Penina would be Pater, Kach Tzara's Tzarasa Petura, so too Halah would also be Pater. I feel Heimeya, even if it's 100, so you just that was the other line. We added what the fourth. Isn't this great, guys? After you did it, right? Right?
Yes.
No, it's unbelievable, right? You know exactly what's going on. You just saw it in front of you. It's right in front of you. Baruch Hashem. Ketzad in Mesu Tzarasem Mutaros. What would be a case if he dies at Tzarasem Mutar? If his daughter or one of the other 14 were married to his brother, the Lo Yisha Cheres, and there's Penina, Mesa Bita, if she dies, she's divorced. This is before the brother dies. And then the brother dies. The tzara will be muta. Adrab, you have to do it. It's a chiyuv to do one or the other. Now, the last case. So let's say the daughter is married to the brother. Now you have the daughter married to the brother, and there's another woman falling now in front of Reuven. So Reuven's daughter, who's a katana, falls with another woman. If this bita would be out of the way, you would be able to go ahead and be miyabim Penina. And let's say she refuses. Let's say she wants to stay married to, she refuses to do mion. Right? She refuses to. I'm saying she refused the marriage. It doesn't have to mion. She could go to Bezdin. You don't need. It's not like a get. Go to Bezdin.
Talk about the case of you. She's falling already, isn't she?
Good. No, but yeah, she's falling. But she could do mion afterwards.
She could do the
Mion's like there was never a marriage. It was never a marriage. It's not a problem. It's not like once. No, that's different. That's why you're speaking about regular kedushin. This kedushin rabbanan. This would nullify the marriage.
It never existed.
So after the guy died. So after the guy died, you nullified the marriage. Guys, look at the case. Look inside. That's the last case. We blew by that. Look at the last case there. It's the last case. 23. Okay, so I think I told you incorrect shot. I think it has to be, now here's the case. So you have Reuven Shimon, you have the Katana. Katana divorces Acher. That divorce makes her a free agent that she can do Mion. She's now married to Shimon. We would tell her now to do Mion before the death of Shimon in order to facilitate her marriage to that Reuven should be able to marry Penina. But she doesn't do Mion. She doesn't do Mion, right? She doesn't do Mion. So Shimon dies. She didn't do Mion yet. So the halacha is that since the kedushin is only the Rabbanon, you'd have to do chalitza. Okay, look at Rashi, guys. Look at Rashi in the Mishnah. Right before the Gemara on the left side, right before the Gemara, 3 lines up. Anyone who's able to do Mion, kigoin, erva kitana, the erva in this case is the daughter, the bitay was a katana, and she's able to do Mion, and she doesn't. So I was wrong. It's only she doesn't do Mion before the brother dies. So again, Reuven's daughter is married to Shimon, and Shimon has another wife, Penina. Reuven's daughter is a katana. She should do Mion, but she doesn't. And she doesn't do Mion. She doesn't do Mion, and Shimon dies. What's the deal? Umeis achiv, hoyel guys, hoyel v'kedushezeha eina ela midrabanan. Since the kedushin was only midrabanan, again the kedushin of a katana is only midrabanan. The zikas nefilasa midrabanan, and the zika at the time of falling is only drabanan, meaning the kesher of erev is only drabanan. Eina poiteres tzarasa min achalitza, right? Does not get penina off the hook without a chalitza. I want to do yibum. Ulisyabim esura can mafarish time of bigamara sheniris saras erva. In other words, it appears like it's saras erva. We won't let her do yibum because we may make a mistake in the case of a real erva, not a rabbinical erva, but a deraisa erva. We may go ahead and make a mistake. Okay, so we'll cut it here. Hopefully it was helpful. Keep your book handy, and Bez Hashem, we wish you all atzlacha. Thank everyone for listening.